We begin tonight with Donald Trump firing the director of the FBI, James Comey, whose investigations, plural, into Hillary Clinton's emails had the effect of helping put Trump in the White House, today received a letter telling him he was, and I quote, terminated and removed from office effective immediately. Comey wasn't in his office, he was in LA. But exactly as Trump was firing Comey, the FBI was issuing grand jury subpoenas to associates of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn as part of its Russia investigation. The White House insisted Comey's termination was because he mishandled the Clinton email investigation, but many people in Washington were joining dots that linked to Russia. As a commentator said on CNN, this is an investigator investigating the White House, and he has just been fired by the White House. Bridget Burke reports.
You're fired.
Shock across the United States as FBI Director James Comey is fired by US President Donald Trump. Just hours before the sacking was made public, White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer was asked at a press conference about the pair's working relationship.
Does the president still have confidence, full confidence in FBI Director James Comey?
I have no reason to believe. I haven't asked him, so I have not asked the president since the last time we spoke about this.
And the last time you spoke about it, you said he did have confidence, but you're not sure to say that again now?
Well, I don't, in light of what you're telling me, I don't want to start speaking on behalf of the president without speaking to him first.
Comey's contract was terminated halfway through his 10-year term at the recommendation of the Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who said Comey was no longer able to effectively lead the agency. It's understood Mr. Comey learnt of his sacking from media reports whilst meeting FBI agents in Los Angeles. In a statement, the president said, "Today will mark a new beginning for our crown jewel of law enforcement." Comey's sacking comes just days after he appeared before the Senate defending his handling of the Clinton email probe, adding for the first time publicly he had felt uneasy.
Look, this was terrible. It makes me mildly nauseous to think that we might have had some impact on the election, but honestly, it wouldn't change the decision.
Comey came under fire for including apparent false and misleading information at the Senate hearing about the number and kind of emails sent by Hillary Clinton's aide Uma Abedin to her husband Anthony Weiner. His sudden dismissal comes as the FBI investigates Russian interference in last year's election campaign and possible collusion with the Trump campaign. The Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer told a press conference after the sacking he questioned whether the agency's investigation had got too close to home for the president.
President Trump called me and informed me he was firing Director Comey. I told the president, "Mr. President, with all due respect, you are making a big mistake." The first question the administration has to answer is why now? If the administration had objections to the way Director Comey handled the Clinton investigation, they had those objections the minute the president got into office. But they didn't fire him then. Why did it happen today? We know the House is investigating Russian interference in our elections that benefited the Trump campaign. We know the Senate is investigating. We know the FBI has been looking into whether the Trump campaign colluded with the Russians, a very serious offense. Were these investigations getting too close to home for the president?
Mr. Schumer said the situation had become part of a deeply troubling pattern from the Trump administration.
They fired Sally Yates. They fired Preet Bharara, and now they fired Director Comey, the very man leading the investigation. This does not seem to be a coincidence. This investigation must be run as far away as possible from this White House and as far away as possible from anyone that President Trump has appointed. The only way the American people can have faith in this investigation is for it to be led by a fearless, independent special prosecutor. If Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein does not appoint an independent special prosecutor, every American will rightly suspect that the decision to fire Director Comey was part of a cover-up.
Republican Senator John McCain paid tribute to Comey, saying he was a man of honour and integrity, but said he respected Donald Trump's decision.
I regret that took place. The president does have that authority, so I respect that. Okay?
Democratic Senator for Pennsylvania Bob Casey said the president's actions were outrageous and inappropriate.
I think a firing like this creates a chilling effect on the next FBI director. When you know that the administration that appoints you could fire you because they don't like the way you conduct your investigation.
But Republican Senator for Maine and member of the Senate Intelligence Committee Susan Collins said the sacking would have no impact on the committee's investigation.
It's a bipartisan investigation that we have underway. We've made a lot of progress in the last couple of weeks, and we're going to continue to vigorously follow the evidence wherever it leads us.
In contrast, Democratic Senator for Virginia Mark Warner, who also sits on the Senate Intelligence Committee, said he was appalled.
You look at the actions of this administration, firing the acting Attorney General Yates when they didn't agree with her, firing all these U.S. attorneys in an unprecedented way, now firing the FBI director, refusing to acknowledge that there's any there, maybe the only person in Washington, that White House, that would say that. I hope in many ways that there doesn't prove to be anything for the sake of the presidency, but boy, oh boy, I've never seen this much smoke without there being some fire someplace.
Both President Trump and Mr. Comey weren't commenting tonight, but Mr. Comey was pictured boarding a plane at Los Angeles Airport as the search for his replacement begins. For Checkpoint, Bridget Burke.